All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to part 3, the final part for Ask the King for January 24th, 2019. And quite frankly, this is probably going to be the shortest part because we're almost done. And we've got 2 more questions from Twitter. I'm going to open up the questioning to the stream chat and see if anyone has interesting questions for me. Probably will be a much shorter part of the show to end it off here, okay? We start off with Dope Soap, who actually did a 100-bit cheer and says, have you watched the new Punisher? I heard it was good. No. I have not seen either Punisher seasons 1 or 2 on Netflix yet. Okay. So, we start off with Winter Botch. He says, first time caller, but a long time listener. Which is funny, that's what people would say on a radio show. Have you ever bought a Twitch subscription of another streamer, and if so, who? Have I ever bought a Twitch subscription? No. Never. Because I don't watch other streamers, very rarely. I mean, over the years that I've been on Twitch, I think I watched a few streams of Ptolomeo back in the day. That was like 2 years ago. And I very rarely would watch like a fighting game tournament or something like that. And every once in a while, I have a Twitch Prime subscription, which allows me to get free 2-day shipping and Amazon Video. So because of that, you get a free Twitch Prime sub every month. And every month, I'll just kind of throw it out there. Sometimes I give it to Tolo. I know I gave it once. I gave it to Sabin, Arturo Sanchez, who is a streamer of fighting game content. A lot of the times I go to my own viewers who I host, like for example Kekin or Popsicolo or other people who are streaming. I'll just join their streams, and if the streams are cool, I'll do a Twitch Prime sub with them. But no, I have never paid outright for a Twitch subscription. Honestly, I just don't have time to watch Twitch, or when I'm away from streaming, I don't want to be watching Twitch. You see what I'm saying? Like, I want to separate work from that, so that way I'm not completely inundated with work. You see what I mean? I feel that it's better to have the separation. So since I'm all day on Twitch streaming, I don't want then my offline stuff to be watching people on Twitch as well. So very rarely would I do that. I wouldn't, and so I wouldn't pay for any of that or anything either. You see what I mean? So there you go. All right. And the final question for Twitter today was from Cosmic Gaijin. And he says, do you have any hobbies outside of gaming? If so, what would they be? Would you ever consider sharing or doing a stream involving those hobbies? Well, I guess the best way to answer this question would be to outline the hobbies I've had over my life. When I was much younger, obviously video games were one of my hobbies, but I also used to be a collector. I used to collect baseball cards. And then I crossed over into like the realm of other things like football, or American football cards. But then comic book cards. Those were huge because I was a fan of comic books. I also collected comic books. Ones like X-Men, Spider-Man, Superman, and Batman. And then I loved getting comic book cards as well as movie tie-in cards. I remember when the Batman movies were coming out, you could get cards of the scenes and the characters, and they would come with stickers, and you put them in albums and collect, try to get the whole set. And then when the comic book cards started coming out, that was crazy because that's the era when cards and comic books were hugely collectible in the early 90s, and they could be sold for tons of money. So I would have comic book cards. I would buy a whole box. I'd go to the comic book store and say, I want the whole box of cards. And I would come home and open the box and go through and sort them and put them in order. And there'd be variants with holograms and stuff on them that would be worth more money because they're rare cards and stuff. I was heavily as a collector of that kind of stuff for a while. Then, late 90s, I got way more into video games and competitive Street Fighter. I really didn't care about that shit anymore. And that's when the internet exploded, and it was a huge plummeting in the popularity of comic books and comic book cards, so I kind of fell out from doing that stuff. Let's see. Movies. I love movies. I absolutely love movies. I love watching them. I love collecting them. I'm kind of well-versed on movies of the 80s, because those are the era when I grew up, and I used to watch movies on television all the time. Back then, my parents had HBO, home box office, so I watched a lot of big-time movies over and over and over ad nauseum that were on HBO all the time. And I have a big movie collection that I have downstairs, various eras. You know, I'd probably say starting with the 80s, although I have some from the 70s, mostly the 80s, 90s, to 2000s. Honestly, I don't think I've bought many movies that came out in the last decade. I just don't see the reason to, since everything's digital now. You want to see it, rent it, right? But, you know, I own a lot of older movies and stuff like that. And that's a hobby of mine, like collecting older movies, watching and being kind of almost an aficionado. If there was a movie trivia game about the 1980s, I would probably win everything because I'm like really up on movies of the 80s and stuff like that. outside of all of that, really my hobby for most of my life was competitive Street Fighter, where from the late 90s through 2007, 2008, my hobby was traveling. So we're talking 10 plus years. I would travel to play Street Fighter, travel the country, fly all around, and play in these competitive tournament environments, meet people from all over the country. And it was really neat, but it was also very expensive. It was a time in my life when I spent a lot of money on something I really don't feel like I got long-term anything out of. So in that regard, it's kind of like, yeah, I've been there, done that. That's why to this day and age, people are like, well, Phil, you live right outside of Seattle. Why don't you drive into Seattle and attend a fighting game tournament? I'm like, I don't want to. You know, I've done it. I've enjoyed it at a time in my life when I thought it was fun. I don't think I would really like it that much anymore. You know, if I'm going to drive into Seattle, I want to do touristy stuff and have fun with Kat. I don't want to sit in a fucking, you know, a hall where I have to wait all day for my match and have drama, and I just don't care about that. You know what I mean? Then when I started doing this for a living, basically the only hobbies that I have is wrestling. That's my one wrestling. Wrestling is the one thing, pro wrestling. That's kind of a thing I follow. I'll still watch Raw and SmackDown. Now that WWE Network is big, now I watch NXT, which is the developmental show, NXT UK, which is the UK developmental show, 205 Live. I watch all the pay-per-views, so yes, I'll be watching NXT TakeOver and the Royal Rumble this weekend when it's on. I probably won't watch it live because I'll be working, but I'll watch it on demand afterward when I get a chance to actually watch them, okay? It's still my thing, even though I kind of grown at some of the writing. I definitely think that the best talent ever is in the company, yet they don't utilize them as well as they should be at all. That's kind of like my one hobby outside of gaming that I don't really talk about that much in gaming is the pro wrestling thing. But outside of that, I don't really have time for much else. I've told you guys, I'm working so much. I get a few hours a night to relax or spend time with Kat, and it's really not, I don't have time to do like a set hobby or anything anymore. You know what I mean? So, would I ever do a stream involving those hobbies? What could I do a stream in regards to wrestling besides wrestling commentary, which I used to do? That was Smart Guys. That was the show that, from all intents and purposes, when I moved across the country, I had intended on continuing. It wasn't my choice to end the show. It was my co-host's choice to end the show because he was being very dishonest with me about his intentions. And it sucks because after that, people were like, you know, it would be nice maybe to hear you do pro wrestling every once in a while, but it's definitely not the same without your former co-host. And I agree. Without having that person there to play off of, to have our differing opinions, it's certainly not the same show that it used to be, so I never really got back into it. So honestly, I don't think that would be something I would be interested in doing because I know it would be too different from what it originally was intended to be. Okay? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, that's it for all the forum and Twitter questions. I'm now going to open the show to the stream chatters. Obviously, if you cheer, sub, or tip, you have a better chance of getting your question answered because I'm going to give you a shout out for that contribution. But in general, questions in the stream chat, I'll be reviewing them and reading them. This could be 5 more minutes. This could be 50 more minutes, depending on the questions and how well this goes. So let's see. Crisis wants to know, how do I stay on the pulse of trends if I don't watch Twitch or YouTube? You guys constantly tell me what's going on outside of it. I read what you say in the stream chat, what you guys are talking about. I have social media, obviously Twitter. I follow the gaming trends. I have trends on that I look at. So I kind of know what's going on. Even if I'm not watching and not directly following, I kind of at least generally know what's happening in the realm of stuff. So at least I'm well versed and I'm educated. It's not me coming completely ignorant to the world every day to stream. Although admittedly, sometimes I do. I'll come, Phil, did you see the new trailer? Did you do this? Nope. You know, I try to unplug from that stuff. When I'm not on stream, I'm trying to unplug and do other stuff. So a lot of the times I am ignorant of it, you know. Am I a fan of craft beers? Ask Exquilax. I don't even know what that means. I'm serious. Like, I guess craft beer must mean more like it's locally brewed or something. I don't know. There's 1 or 2 places around here that I've been that have craft beers that are pretty good. But in general, I'm not really any kind of a beer aficionado. You know what I mean? I'll just drink whatever I feel. If I want something lighter and less robust, I'll get like a Blue Moon. If I want something deep and dark, I'll get like a Guinness. You see what I mean? Or another kind of stout. That's the kind of guy I am. I'm not a big beer guy. So, Dope Soap Cheers says, where do you want to get married? Who will be your best man? Where do I want to get married? I have no idea. Obviously that's not something that's happening in the realm of possibility anytime soon. And so Kat and I really haven't really discussed it. Who'd be my best man? Nobody. there's no one to be my best man. Kat also doesn't really have anyone. You know, we're people who we don't really have a big family. She moved out here to be with me. You know, she has like maybe 1 or 2 friends here locally from her job or whatever. And, you know, me, I don't have time for that. So there wouldn't be any. It basically would kind of be just go see the Justice of the Peace and get married, I think. You know, that'd be it. Just do it for us rather than doing it for the family, for the friends, a big to-do, just a little private thing for us, and that's it. If and when we were able to do it. Blah, I can't speak English. All right, Swaggins. Just cheers. And over the years, I've noticed you have started drinking more water. Back, you used to drink a lot of energy drinks. What would you say are your top 3 favorite waters? Would you compare and contrast them? I love Fiji, Dasani, and Smart Water. Personally, I'm a huge fan of water, but I can't drink it with actual meals. Do you ever wonder what makes water so appealing to everyone when it doesn't have a distinct taste? Well, over the years, I've done many different things. When I first started on YouTube, I was drinking terrible stuff like Jolt Cola and shit like that. Then I went to filtered water. I had a Brita filter, but the charcoal water somehow was giving me indigestion. I was getting heartburn all the time from it. So I stopped drinking it, and no lie, like I barely get heartburn ever anymore. It was weird. Every day I had it, then I stopped doing it, and I don't get it anymore. Bottled water, for whatever reason, doesn't give me that problem. It was something with the charcoal interacting with my stomach. Very weird. As for these waters, like drinking water, I just get the cheapest thing. Look what I got. This is from like a local supermarket. Fred Meyer purified drinking water. I probably bought it on sale, you know, with a coupon or something, like a big pack 32 waters or whatever. It doesn't taste bad. There's one brand out here that's disgusting. I hear what it's called. Something Arrow. Yeah, something Arrow. And it's supposed to be from a local spring, and it tastes like worse than the tap water out of the fucking the tap over here in the bathroom. So I stopped drinking that. I don't really care, but I agree with you. I've had other waters. Fiji water, I don't know what they do to it. It just seems really smooth, and it has this refreshing aspect to it. I don't know what it is with the water. Fiji water 100% does taste different from other waters to me. Smart water also has this kind of refreshing feeling to it because they say they put electrolytes in it for flavor, and I think it tastes good. Smart water. Problem is, both Fiji and Smart Water are pretty expensive. Like I said, you can get a giant pack of this generic water here for like $5 or less, while you go get those waters, you're talking $5 for a 6-pack. You know what I mean? So I'm not necessarily a connoisseur of water or anything. I used to drink, what was it, Nestle Pure Life? But then I realized that this water, the generic one, tasted the same. I said, why am I paying more for the same thing? Dasani's good. I'll admit that, but they could be a little bit on the pricey side too, unless they're on sale. So, there you go. DV, hold me closer, cheered. He said, everything about changing your classic facial hair to something else, a beard or clean shaven. A full beard would never happen. I've talked about this over the years, that when I let the beard grow out, it actually itches really bad. And even though I know probably if I just let it grow even longer, I'd get used to it, I don't like having it everywhere. Right here, I like it for whatever reason. It looks good, looks distinguished, looks different. I used to be bare-skinned face, and that's all right. But in general, I think I like having a little bit of goatee there. You know, I think this is actually called the Van Dyke, the design that I have here or whatever. But I wouldn't want a full beard because it would be probably too much grooming, too much upkeep, and it would itch. Okay? Why not tap water? Because I live in the U.S. Well, number one, the tap water honestly doesn't taste as good as bottled water. Number two, tap water, you need to have a big open glass or whatever, right? Potential to tip it over. Here, bottled water, you know, it's right here, and I can have the cap on it, so when I'm streaming, I knock it over. It's not a big deal, although sometimes I have made a big mess with water. But in general, it's easier to do. It's economic. You crunch the bottle, right? Now that they have these new green bottles, they're easy to crunch. They don't take up a lot of space in a landfill, and they're all fully recycled anyway. I think this is a recycled bottle, and then they recycle it on top of that, right? Here we go. This is a pet peeve of a lot of people. When I crush the Eco bottle on stream. Here it goes, everyone. Ready? And then, of course, you need to add the cap to create the vacuum so that the bottle won't expand after you've pushed all the air out of it. There you go. So that ain't a big deal. You know what I mean? Dasani bottle, you can't do that. I like these ones that you could crunch, and then you just toss them right. They recycle it right away. Okay. Some people like that. Some people hate when I do that. But there you go. Okay, let's see. Anyone else having questions? No. Oh, so the other question was, why not tap water? It's also harder to keep tap water cold. Even if you put ice in it, it airs out more. Because a bottle of water, you put the cap back on, you can regulate the temperature and keep it colder longer. Versus tap water, you really can't. So. Muscle over bone says, if you don't drink tap water, how do you get your fluoride? Your teeth will fall out. I brush my teeth. If you just brush your teeth regularly 2 to 3 times a day, you have enough fluoride in your teeth. The problem is, the reason they put fluoride in the tap water in America is because they don't think people brush their teeth enough. So it's a way to keep teeth longer, even though if you're just brushing your teeth with standard toothpaste, you're fine anyway. Hoovian Dragons asks, is there any certain goal I have now that you believe you can achieve in the future, and how's your day been? My day's been good. My day's primarily been just doing this. So far, so good. I think the Ask the King has been a good episode. A goal, I'll be very honest with everyone. A goal for the future I really would like to do, and this is me being very honest, I don't know if I'll ever be able to do it. I want to do a charity stream. I want to do a stream where I'm in a good enough financial position, I don't have to worry about not streaming for a day is going to hurt me, to the point where I can do a nice charity event where I can just stream and do random stuff and raise money for a good cause. I've always wanted to do it. And I've told the story before, I'll tell it again. 2015 was going to be the year when I was going to do it. I had it planned out. I had the charity lined up. I had the means to do it. I actually had 2 people who were going to be celebrity guests on the stream, other content creators who were going to show up and do it. And I had an event plan where I was going to be like classic throwback video games that I was going to do for this event. And then that year, 2015, was the year when I got false copyright strikes against my channel, massive trolling. I got doxxed, not doxxed, excuse me, swatted, and all that shit happened. And I was like, after all that happened, I was like, I guess I'm canceling the event, because there's no way that I could do it in good conscience. People would probably do whatever they could to fuck with me, shut me off the internet, get me in trouble here, and just basically make the event miserable and not a success. So I ended up that year not doing it. I canceled everything, and ever since then, I never bothered to try to do it again, because it's just, every year there's so many more people who are so toxic and sick that I guarantee you one of 2 things would happen. Either they would try to shut down the event so horribly because they would want to make me see me fail and know that how frustrating it would be for me, being it's the only time I've ever done a charity event. Or they would actually try to contact the charities involved and say, oh, you don't want to be associated with him. He's a racist. He's a bigot. And again, just like we talked about on this show earlier, link to stuff that I did 8-9 years ago and act like that's stuff I do now and act like I'm such a horrible person. Like, you don't want to be associated with this guy raising money for you, and try to basically ruin the whole thing. And that sucks, because as you guys know, I'm not like that. I would love to do something for charity. Like, as I've told you guys, I do charity when I can actually do it. I certainly don't do it in a big way, but every once in a while, if I throw a buck here or there for a charity or whatever, I do it. And I don't advertise that stuff. I feel that charity is something that's supposed to be not done for public gain. Oh, look at how good that guy is because he raised all this money for charity. I don't like that. I think charity should be something, if you can afford it, you do it behind the scenes and you keep it to yourself, because you shouldn't get any personal gain just because you did something nice. If that's the case, then what, you really weren't doing it to be nice. You were doing it for your own personal gain. That's why I didn't participate in any of those viral fads years ago. Oh, the ice bucket challenge and all that. Sorry, but people were doing it literally to jump on a fad and look good, not to actually help. I'm sorry. I really feel that. And I know for a fact a lot of people were doing it for viral popularity, not because it was well-intentioned. And that's why I refused to do that stuff. I always kept it behind the scenes. But I would eventually love to do some kind of a charity event, but I don't even know when. The thing is, even now, I really do feel that now I'm viewed more in a positive light than I have been in a long time. Like, I feel that when I moved out here to Washington in 2014, that was the low. Like, people hated me. They wanted to see me fail. They were so jealous that I was able to move across the country to a nice house and play. They wanted to do anything they could. Impersonate people, put fake fan art so they could strike me later with copyright strikes and take down my YouTube channels and take everything possibly away from me. And now I think really with the changes that I've instituted in the last few years that people have mellowed out in a lot of ways. I get messages every day about people who are like, I used to be a hater of yours, but I'm not anymore. You know what I mean? But sadly, even with that mainstream kind of, oh, fuck Phil, he's a piece of shit, kind of a feeling waning and not really being prominent anymore, I think that there's still a group of people who are so dedicated to hurting me because they're just mentally ill, they would try to find a way to fuck over the event no matter what. And that's why I basically never have done anything like that. All right, Swagger says, a lot of people praise Voss. I can't get behind it. I'm talking about the glass Voss bottles. The plastic ones could taste different, but when you drink Voss, it has to be a very sour taste to it when it leaves no aftertaste. It's really weird and unsettling. Oh, I've never drank Voss water, so I could not speak to that. But thank you for the cheer. Silent Watcher tipped me $1. Let's see what it says here. Hope your stream is going well. What do you think your plans will be for March and February? Any concerns about future playthroughs? Have you ever considered hosting content on the King of Hate? Hold on. Or to other content creators, what about finding an MCN of your own? Dude, everything you literally mentioned is for someone who has money. I mean, even PewDiePie doesn't host his own content. And think about how much money that fucker's rolling in. And he doesn't do it. So if the richest dude for doing gaming content can't do it, I'm pretty sure I can't afford it, okay? But thank you for the $1 tip. Swangin' Street again, he said, what's your stance on electric versus regular toothbrushes? I've used electric for many years. Oh, I never had an electric. The only one I ever had, a toothbrush that had motion, it was the Oral-B, the one where it has a battery in it, and you push it and it vibrates, and you brush your teeth vibrating. I used that for many years, probably like 4 years, and I liked it. But then I realized I'm paying so much more money for this thing. Is it really effectively cleaning my teeth any better? So then I just went to like a standard Colgate toothbrush, and it had like a little circle design on it or whatever. I was pretty like, it feels better. I actually feel like I'm cleaning my teeth better with this toothbrush that's half the price. So I just use regular toothbrushes. I've never owned like a professional grade, crazy ass electric toothbrush or anything like that. And I probably never will. So, let's see here. Orpheus has subscribed to the channel for the 4th month in a row. Thank you, Orpheus, for the support. Shadow Steve, cheers. Luigi's Mansion on GameCube would be right up your alley. Not too long in a unique game. I don't know if there's a viable way for me to do that. Because I don't know if it was ever, like, emulated on, say, the Wii or Wii U, or, you know what I mean? Was it on a console that I could actually play it fully? Or are you saying I should get the original? Because I could play GameCube games on my Wii. Do you think that I should get the original game on disc? It's that good of a game that I should do a playthrough of it? If so, maybe I would consider it. I don't know. Dope Soap cheered again. Have you thought about maybe having a parlay convo with big name detractors? No. Because the bottom line is they're not interested in it. If they ever were actually looking for something from me, they would have said it. And there were some of these guys who over the years said, we just want Phil to change. So I did change, and now they still do it. So it was bullshit to begin with. The bottom line is if there's someone out there who's dead set on hurting me, and it's someone who I've never directly talked to, don't know anything about, this is all they do, they're already fucked up and they're beyond, changing. They're doing it for a reason. Some people who do it is because they get personal gain. They actually get money and donations and earnings off of illegally stealing my content on a daily basis. And that's why they do it. Others do it just because this is the only way that they can get attention in their lives. Maybe some of them actually feel like they have personal gripes against me, despite the fact I have no idea who these people are, and that's incredibly unhealthy. What's the point? And another thing is, last year, if you guys remember, early 2018, I sat down and I said, I am tired of this shit, this negative stuff. I just want it to go away. So I'm having a truce. If people just want to talk about it or whatever, I'm throwing in the towel and having a truce. I don't ever want to be at odds with these people again. I just want to make my content and have fun and be chill, and that's it. And none of them took the olive branch. Instead, they just continued with their negative shit all year. I completely said I would lay off and not do anything in regards to them, and they just get attack. So fuck that. They don't care. When you're that fucked in the head and all you want to do is hurt, that's it. You're fucked. I can't be a psychiatrist to them and figure out what the fuck their problem is and talk them off the ledge from being awful and ruining their lives. So, do you know what I mean? Nothing that I say or do is ever going to help. It's got to be something on their end to figure shit out. Goldie Bluzco cheered. He said, do you have a game plan for the empty emote slots? I've not really heard any ideas. for me, it's not really on me to come up with those. It's you guys. Like, what would you guys like to see? Is there memes or things from my streams that recently you think would be cool to have a new emote or whatever? You gotta let me know, and then we gotta see if anyone would be willing to make them. But the bottom line is, I can't do anything about it. I don't have Photoshop. I don't have any kind of editing software like that. And you know what I mean? Like, I just kind of shrug. I don't really have a means to do that. So in that regard, you know, it's really out of my hands. It's up to other people who want to maybe do fan art and stuff. You know what I mean? Dope Soap Cheer, he says, what does the olive branch entail, though? Like, what does it mean? It means that I wouldn't actively attack anyone. I wouldn't bring it up. I wouldn't talk about them if they don't talk about me. Ignore the shit that I'm doing, and I won't bother you. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Like, people are like, oh, well, why do people attack Phil? I don't fucking know. Maybe it was, some people literally will bring back something from 10 years ago. Phil said this one thing years ago that was ignorant, and it pisses us off. Well, I don't really do that anymore. You don't hear me going out and just blowing up about games and talking bad about people who like certain games or insulting people who don't, you know, without having some kind of intelligence behind it or some kind of an argument behind it. You're not going to hear me go off the cuff and do the kind of ranting and raving and shit that I used to do without good reason. I've changed as a person. The things these people used to use as their thesis of why they hate me isn't standing true anymore. So now they just do it for the sake of doing it. And it's like, well, then what was the point? You really didn't have any justification behind what you were doing anyway. And that's my point that I was trying to make last year. Last year, they were trying to dox people on my forums. And I'm like, then just do it. Because nothing I say or do will ever satisfy you. You're obviously messed up enough in the head to think that something that's going on with me controls your ability to dox people on the internet. You are fucked up. You are bad people with no morals. And it doesn't matter what I change or what I do. You could hold it with a gun to my head saying if I do something that you'll change, and then they didn't anyway. That was the other thing. Like, the thing that they wanted to happen happened. There was a mod who they really hated. That person got banned from Twitch. After that, did they just magically stop harassing me? Of course not. They continued because they're liars. They're hypocrites. They are the ultimate people who need help, but they will not seek it. Instead, they just believe this insane cultish mentality that hurting people on the internet who never did a thing to them is something good. It's a crusade for good and morality. They're that fucked up in the head. They need help, but won't seek it themselves. But because it's the shit they do is anonymous on the internet, no one else knows they need the help. They may even have personal lives that are normal, but then they go and they do this weird shit in their fucking rooms after hours to try to hate on me and shit. It's just fucked up, man. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying. Like, I would 100% say, I'll never mention this shit ever again. There's no point. If people would just leave me alone and stop fucking with me, I never would have to do the things that they hate. The thing that they claim that they hate the most about me is that I e-bag, right? You're constantly asking your viewers and your fans for contribution. Well, guess what? I never would have ever had to do that if my YouTube ad revenue never plummeted because you hit me with false copyright strikes 3.5 years ago, right? I never would have had to be in a situation where I can't pay my taxes if you didn't cost me my partnership with Curse. You didn't kick me out of every sponsorship opportunity I tried to do in 2018. I mean, I could keep going on and on. They're the reason why I keep getting fucked over, yet then they hypocritically say, we do it because Phil does the things that I need to do as a result of them fucking me over. You see what I mean? If they had just left me alone, none of this ever would have happened. But they want to point the finger at me because it's easy to do that because I'm the public figurehead while they're the anonymous group of weirdos behind the scenes who keep fucking with me. So there you go. Oh, Goldie Blusco says, I appreciate the skills gap, but do you have any ideas for the emotes? No, again, Goldie Blusco, you asking me that is the same as you asking me, what are your funniest moments of the year? I don't know. I create the content. You guys are the ones who react to it. So what were my funniest moments of 2018? I would never be able to make a countdown of that because it's you guys, the viewers, who judge that for me. Same thing with emotes. You're the viewers. You're the one who used the stream chat. What do you want to see as an emote? That's what you got to ask. Not what would I want? Who cares what I want? I'm not in the stream chat all day. You guys are. You know what I mean? They call me Jim Jobs at the pachinko level in Super Mario Sunshine. See what I mean? Like, I totally even forgot about that. Jackie Smurf says, do you think trolling is warranted if it's constructive? Trolling is warranted if it can actually be contributed as something that will improve something, but doesn't concretely hurt that content creator. So, all right, something happened on stream or whatever, something silly or something of improvement, and everyone turns it into a meme that this is something you do and you should improve, then maybe you'll take notice and you'll actually improve it. But when you do memes that are hurtful, right? Memes that are just negative shit that are meant to insult. When you go outside the realm of something that could be a positive criticism to improve a stream, and now you're attacking someone's family or loved ones for no reason. You know, the stuff that happens to me regularly, the trolls who come in here to the stream chat, they're not in here to try to improve stuff. They're saying shit about Cat. They're saying shit about, other stuff behind the scenes that has nothing to do with my streams. And it's like, that's not constructive criticism. You're just literally trying to insult people because you can. And that's what's fucked up. Over the years, I've gotten great criticism. I've gotten great, absolutely great feedback from people who maybe necessarily wouldn't even be considered fans of mine. And I've implemented a lot of changes and things into my stuff over the years to make it better. And that's appreciated, but not at the expense of, oh, by the way, while we're doing that, now everyone makes fun of you and personally insults you and your family and, tanks your business because we trolled you on YouTube and shit. You see what I mean? There's definitely a line. It's not even a fine line. It's a pretty easily, clearly defined line between what's constructive and what's just there to hurt. Well, thank you, TM52 Twitch, for a cheer. And basically, he's like, why don't you take any legal action against any of these people? You can't, because this is the wild west of the internet. We're still in the formative years of the internet, where some people don't even realize that people, as a content creator, can make a living. They don't get it. They don't understand what kind of defamation and slander on the internet could do to someone's reputation and how concretely it could hurt the rest of their life. They don't understand that. There's no laws really in place to do anything about it. There's no cyber police who can come out and take care of this kind of shit. You know what I mean? Right now, I literally have no recourse or control over what these people do to me at all. Like, there's nothing I could do. So there's no point in even trying. The only thing that I can do is try to make people realize that that kind of behavior is toxic. It's terrible. It's negative. It's not a way to take your life. And that a single penny that a person makes illegally stealing my content and making fun of me instead of being constructive and making their own content is theft. And it basically is illegitimate. Any moron who would ever contribute to a restreamer or whatever is just that, a complete brain-dead fucking idiot who's actually supporting theft and supporting immoral, toxic behavior on this planet. You're actually making the internet a worse fucking place. And you shouldn't support that. You shouldn't. It should be positive content creators who are putting out stuff on their own, not people who are there just to deride and bring down. It's like you said, you could be a comic or you could be an insult comic. Very different. A comic is someone, I could genuinely take observations from my own life and make fun of myself and have fun and laugh with people, or I could just be a nasty, toxic person who constantly insults other people and we're laughing at people. Laugh with people, laugh at people. Big fucking difference. This is legit and moral. This is fucked up and wrong. All right. Anything else? So, like a surprise, I probably wouldn't be able to do Twitch Sings. Number one, because my throat gets worn out way too easily these days. Right now, my throat is sore from talking just on Ask the King. And number two, I couldn't put any of that stuff on YouTube. So, no, I couldn't do Twitch Sings. Sir Monzalot says, do you think your life would get better from a trolling perspective if YouTube died? 100% yes. 100% yes. Because YouTube is the place that allows it. Twitch doesn't. Twitch got rid of it. Twitch said, no, we're not allowing this kind of behavior, and got rid of people who were doing that kind of shit to me on Twitch. YouTube is the only place that's allowing this on the internet. They just allow the trolling to happen. In fact, the trolling stuff is what their biggest people, like the Logan Paul, and whoever the fuck the Paul brothers, they do this kind of shit for a living. That's what they do. You got fucking people who just do drama videos and gossip videos on YouTube for a living. It's all slander. They're allowed to do it for a living. This is YouTube now. YouTube 100% is the reason why all this happened. 100%. Kula to me $10. Says, cheers, Phil. Wishing you the best. Thank you very much, Kula. And that DSP, that homeboy, gave me $1 talking about the former two people from Super Best Friends Play giving me a shout out. Listen, apparently some people are of the impression that it's a very sarcastic shout out and it's not well intentioned. Other people are saying no, it's legitimate. I personally don't care. All I know is they mentioned me on their stream basically saying that I outlasted both Super Best Friends Play as well as Machinima. And even though it may be sarcastic, the bottom line is it's truthful. Doesn't matter if they meant it as a joke, it's still truthful. And the fact that they even mentioned it means that it kind of irks them that sadly their big project, their big baby, the thing that made them popular on the internet is now dead, but I'm still going. Even though as much smaller as I always was compared to them, I'm still going and they're not. So, there you go. All right. Anything else? Any other final questions, everybody? Or should we call it a day? Last chance to get a question in for this stream. All right, Save the Pig, the Game Cheers says, don't let the trolls get to you and keep providing us with the quality content that we come here for. And that's my intention. That is 100% my intention. No worries. No, I did not play sports growing up. I played sports with my friends, but I was never on like a sports team or anything like that. Dope Soap chooses, are we ever going to see Kat again? That's fully in her own discretion and her own judgment. Considering the fact that she's not on the streams and people are still constantly doing things to insult her and shit and make stiff up and just be negatively nasty to her, I doubt she's ever going to want it. Why? If you're not a part of something and you're regularly being attacked, why would you choose to be a part of something? You see what I mean? If it ever died down, then maybe yeah, but right now she has zero desire, so... Hoovy and Dragon says, do you ever think that one day you'll do stuff that's only on Twitch and won't make it to YouTube on purpose? Like I chose to. I don't know. Like, I don't know what kind of content would be a Twitch exclusive. Why would I do a Twitch exclusive? Because right now, it's basically little to no extra effort to just re-upload the archives of what I'm doing on stream to YouTube to make extra money. Why would I choose to not make that extra money to help my finances? It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like, why would there be only a stream-only thing? I don't know. Excuse me. Well, Davey Holman Closer, thanks for that cheer, but I'm not going to say that. Do I like Boston? I've only been there once, and when I was there, I did actually like it. That was when I was scouting for universities back in the day. All right, Richie7ACR, cheer. He says, great show, Phil. Thanks for answering my questions. Thanks for your questions, Richie. They were good. Oblivion Wing cheer. He said, a random question. What was the first game you ever played? Pong. The first video game I ever played was Pong. Played it at my uncle's house. He had a Pong system hooked up to his TV. I always played games at my uncle's house. That was my first introduction to video games. I didn't know they existed. And then he gave me an Atari 7800 that I played at home. Plus, he gave me the Pong console to play. And then my major exposure to games was either going to the video arcades and seeing how amazing video arcade games looked, including Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game, or playing at my local corner store where I used to get newspapers every Sunday morning with my dad. They had games like Ninja Gaiden and what was it called? Super Adventure Island or something like that. I can't really remember the name of it. And then I got first exposed to home console video games that were modernized when I went to my godparents' house, and they had 3 daughters, and their daughters had an NES, and they were playing like Mario Brothers and stuff like that. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Ask the King, very full episode, even though it wasn't as long as the recent ones. We had a few less questions. That was my fault for not advertising the show enough. But I still think it was a good show. Reminder, the next show will be in March, late March, probably around the 21st of March. And you can post up your questions right now on the kingofhate.com forums. Or if you go to Patreon, the $20 perk is getting your questions answered for sure on the next show. Thank you very much, everyone, for your contributions. Obviously, cheering, subbing, and tipping were good. The really generous tipper, whoever you were, thank you very much for that support. And that is it for Ask the King. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you in a couple months for the next episode. Peace out.